All right, everybody, let's get rolling. Thank you so much for joining me here at the First Alert Desk. Happy Friday. Happy Cinco de Mayo. We made it to the end of the week. I know a lot of you are probably either getting ready to celebrate in some way, or maybe you've already finished your celebration and you are back at home for what's going to be a nice night in, whatever you're doing today. Happy Friday, first Friday of May. The holiday landed on a Friday this year, which a lot of people are really, really happy about. One thing I want to point out, though, before we even get started with today's top stories, a lot of people are mistaken about the reason Cinco de Mayo is celebrated. People think it is Mexican Independence Day. It is not. There is no association with Mexican Independence Day and Cinco de Mayo. In fact, I do believe that Mexican Independence Day is in September. This day, Cinco de Mayo, is celebrated as when the Mexican army booted the French army out of the country. That is why this holiday is celebrated in that culture and in American culture as well. And so that is why you are celebrating. So if you're going to celebrate, at least make sure you've got the right reason in mind. My name's Alan Devlin. Thank you so much for being here with me. We're going to talk about some top stories here in Atlanta. There's a lot going on. It's been a really, really busy, hectic, chaotic week. But like I said, we have made it to the end here. Well, at least for most of you guys, I got 3 more hours before I'm done here. We're going to start off with a story that just kind of started coming down the pipeline here, where we've learned now that some fake electors in the Georgia probe into the 2020 election being done by the Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis, 8 of those fake electors have been granted immunity in the case. They reached a deal with the district attorney's office to be granted immunity, which likely means they're going to be a lot more open to talk about exactly what happened in this case. If you are anything with anybody in connection to politics here in Georgia, you are aware of what's being investigated right now. Donald Trump and his associates are being probed by the Fulton County District Attorney involving their attempts or alleged attempts to overturn the presidential election in 2020. On December 14th of 2020, 16 fake electors showed up to the state capitol here in Georgia and tried to certify Donald Trump as the winner of Georgia's election. That is not the case. Joe Biden won Georgia, the first Democrat to do so, and I know it's a couple of decades. I think it might have been 30 years or something like that. Don't quote me on that, though. But regardless, these fake electors are now working alongside the district attorney's office in some way, in some kind of deal, to probably testify on exactly what happened involving this investigation. It's going on for a while. Fani Willis already said that she'll be making her announcement as far as if she's going to charge Trump sometime this summer. We've got a 3-month window in there, and it could be at any point. She did that to give local law enforcement the opportunity to prepare for what that would look like. We saw what it looked like up in New York when they had to shut basically the whole city down to get him into the courthouse and out. That same thing could happen here in Georgia if he is indicted. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. There's a long way to go from there. But that's where we're at right now. 8 of those fake electors, 8 of the 16 reached some kind of deal to be granted immunity in that case. I've got some good news for you. I actually want to talk about next. Coming up is that in tragedy, we had 1 woman die, 4 women shot in that Midtown mass shooting on Wednesday. We learned today that one of those victims, who was sent to Grady and went through surgery, is now headed home. Man, this was a chaotic time, a sad, tragic time for sure. That suspected shooter, Dion Patterson, opened fire inside the Midtown medical facility there on West Peachtree. He killed 1 woman, Amy St. Pierre, 38-year-old Amy St. Pierre. She did not survive her gunshot injuries. 4 other women were rushed to Grady Hospital right here. 3 of them remain. They're in ICU right now. 1 of them was discharged, and she is now on the road to recovery, headed home, which is phenomenal news. And hospital officials say that the other 3 women who were all shot are still in ICU. They're still in critical condition, but they're stable, which means it is very likely they all will recover and return to some sense of normalcy. I think it's safe to say that physically they will recover a lot faster than they will mentally, because being a part of something like that is terrifying. I can only imagine. But here we are, dealing with it as a community here in Atlanta. We're better than that. We're stronger than that. And we will continue to grow from that. And law enforcement did a phenomenal job in getting this suspected shooter caught relatively quickly. When you consider 8 hours, an 8-hour-long manhunt, he could have been anywhere. We got him in Cobb County right off of Truist Park. No one else was injured after that initial shooting. And again, those 4 that did survive are expected to fully recover. It's Friday, May 5th, which means this weekend, Shaky Knees. And you guys, if you are a fan of music festivals, this is one of the big ones that comes into the Atlanta area. And man, it is go time. The thing started up today, actually. So today was the first day we had it live on air when they were opening the gates right there. Shaky Knees, a lot of great artists performing there today. I'm sure a lot of them are getting ready to get on stage now because it's only 8 o'clock. It's not even dark outside yet, and this festival goes on pretty much all night. And it is a 3-day festival. It is today, it is tomorrow, and it is Sunday as well, all through the weekend. But what's changing up this year is that they are not allowing guns on the property, even though the state of Georgia allows guns on public land, and they are, of course, on public land. Shaky Knees found a loophole in the Georgia state laws that allowed them to ban weapons on the concert. And if you remember, Atlanta hosts a lot of really, really good concerts. But in this situation specifically, we had Music Midtown last year cancel their show after Governor Kemp signed that decree that allowed guns to be brought. So Shaky Knees did not cancel, but they did figure out a way to ban guns. And at this time, I want to remind you guys, while I'm sitting here, telling you all these stories, talking to you very informally in the most part, don't forget, you can always, talk to me on Facebook, talk to me on YouTube, wherever you're watching. I want to make sure it's a conversation and I'm not just talking at you. I want to talk with you. So feel free to leave some comments. I'm going to go and actually open up some, read some right now. Let me see what I can do over here before we jump into our next story. Why is it called Shaky Knees? That's a good question. I don't know. Does anybody know why it's called Shaky Knees? All right, we're going to figure it out right now. We're going to figure out why they call it. I mean, the thing is, they got so many music festivals. Why is it called Bonnaroo? I feel like these answers. Okay, so our meteorologist, Patrick Pete, is going to come over here. He said because everyone's dancing and they're shaking their knees. Patrick Pete. You got to love it. You got to love it. Jason, we got an answer? Okay, so obviously it's not that easy to figure out why it's called Shaky Knees, but it's called Shaky Knees. So, that's the whole thing there. But when I get some more information, I'll be sure to share it with you. As soon as he figures it out, I'll circle back around to it. Another thing I want to talk to you guys about is something that's going to hopefully help your wallets, because we all like money, right? I like money. And if I'm getting free money, I'm in a good spot. But I'll tell you what, if someone's taking my money, I'm going to be upset. And that's exactly what TurboTax got found of doing. They were originally they were alleged. They got caught. Unfortunately, charging people to basically use their service without making it clear that they were being charged. And so they drew people to their website with the advertisement of a free service. It wasn't free, and they had to pay anywhere from $25 to $85 to use the service towards the end. Well, a judge decided that wasn't right, and that TurboTax now has to pay them back. This is for anybody who used the service between 2016 and 2018. So if you filed your taxes with TurboTax and you paid for this specific service, and so you have to actually go on their website and figure out if you did that or not, then you are possibly entitled to what could be up to $85 back into your wallet, and they'll just give it to you. It'll be a check in the mail, or it'll be a direct deposit if you are a customer. But that is an opportunity for you guys to get some money back in your pockets as we move through tax season. And while we're talking about taxes, I'm also going to throw in, don't forget, Governor Kemp, for the second year in a row, has decided to give back a surplus from our state funding to Georgia citizens who are filing taxes in Georgia. And what you have is an opportunity to get either $250 or $500 back in your pocket. If you are a single filer, it's $250. If you are a joint filer, it's $500. If you're a head of household, I believe it's $375, $350. Do not quote me on that, but it's right around that number, I promise. And so that is just more free money in your pocket. And that is what you all get to experience. So if you add in your free Governor Kemp money and then you add in your free TurboTax money, you're looking at what could be upwards of $600 right back into your pockets. And that's money you didn't have to work for. Well, technically it's money you already spent that you should have been charged years ago, but 3 years ago and getting it now, it's still good news. I'm going to check Facebook, YouTube, anybody one more time if anybody wants to throw anything else out there before I let you go this fine Friday. I know a lot of you, if you were waiting up this Friday to talk to me here at 8 o'clock, I know you just had to see Alan on the Atlanta News First Desk before I went out and celebrated Cinco de Mayo. So I appreciate you joining me here. It's been a really weird day weather-wise, I'll tell you that. Not weird, but just if it's May and it's Cinco de Mayo, you want the sun to shine, you want it to be a nice, pleasant day. We didn't get that. We got rain and we got nastiness, but it could have been way worse, I'll tell you that. Because honestly, when you look at the fact that it could have been torrential downpours and an absolute mess, Patrick. We didn't get that, which is good news. So let me not complain. Let me just go ahead and shut up and pass it over to the meteorologist, who's gonna walk you through the next couple of days.
Yeah, in Texas, man, they're dealing with some strong storms. It's capable of producing some pretty large hail. So we have to always do comparison shopping here, taking a look at what we're getting versus what we could be getting. And all in all, I'd rather a little bit of gloom, and that's exactly what we're getting. Lots of clouds, a little bit of rain. Nothing that's too overwhelming, but enough to for sure put a dampen on any of your Friday plans. As far as the weekend forecast is concerned, there's rain chances around. The good news, those rain chances aren't overwhelming. Those rain chances will not be all day, especially Saturday. I actually expect our best chances for rain to be early morning and late evening. I think that the bulk of the day Saturday, while mostly to partly cloudy, depending on where you are, is actually going to be quite nice. And then we're watching for some isolated pop-ups on Sunday. Here's how we get through the weekend forecast, starting with the next few hours, heading into the early morning hours on Saturday. You can see that moisture starts to dissipate. We're still going to be dealing with that thick cloud deck. Meanwhile, temperatures are going to be in the mid to upper 50s across most of the region. And then as we head into the afternoon, well, we're going to be flirting with 70 degrees. So we do expect to warm up a little bit. Today we got into the mid 60s at best. And tomorrow we're going to get into the 70s, which will be quite nice despite the cloud cover. Here's a look at that evening rain chance that I was telling you about. And all guidance isn't picking up on this, but the whole idea of First Alert is to give you a heads up on when we see the potential for some rain moving in. Now, this is not a First Alert, but this is just a heads up. Tomorrow evening, there is a chance to see some showers move in. This is going to be a weakening wave that moves in, so I don't expect it to be as robust as this guidance is pushing it in at. But I do expect some lighter showers as we head into the 10 to 11 o'clock time frame here in Atlanta. And then as we head into Sunday, just an isolated pop-up opportunity. I want to pull up Facebook real quick just because I know some of y'all are over there, and I want to say hey. Melissa asked, why do I prefer gloom? I don't prefer gloom. I prefer gloom over thunderstorms. So that was the reference to that. Texas is getting some pretty strong storms that's producing some very large hail right now, or at least potentially producing some large hail, and we're not getting that. We're getting gloom. So between the two, I choose gloom. But hopefully you're having a pretty fantastic Friday evening, Melissa. Taking a look at our live stream on YouTube. I see there are several of you over there. Shake your knees. Pinky's talking about shake your knees. It's because you dance. Yep, that's why. At least that's what I think, anyways. I think that's why it's called that. But here's a look at your hour-by-hour forecast for Saturday, where we're going to be tracking some clouds around, and then you can see some of those isolated pop-ups. That rain chance is low because I don't expect everybody to see these pop-ups, but they're going to be very isolated. But something else that we're going to see is southerly flow that's going to take hold through the day, so that's going to allow for some warmer numbers yet again to filter into the area. So Sunday is going to be the warmer afternoon, and if you can dodge some of those isolated pop-ups, it's going to be a pretty good Sunday fun day. We're going to be at 70 degrees around 10 o'clock, getting into the upper 70s at around 1 o'clock, and then hitting 80 degrees at 3, and we'll hang out there for a couple of hours before temperatures slowly migrate down. Not going to be a cool night. We're talking about mild temperatures through the overnight into the start of your Monday, and that's really going to be the big story here, is that this southerly flow is going to bring in the chance for some showers. A little bit of moisture comes along with that. We'll see those dew points creep up a little bit as well. So I'm not going to call it humid, but it's going to be more humid than it's been as of late because we've had very dry air building in. So you will notice the change next week when you step outside. Those dew points are going to kick up a little bit more. May not take as long to perspire if you're thinking about going for like a nice run outside or a bike ride. So just be wary of that. We're moving into the season where you're going to want to drink a little bit more water. Meanwhile, those pop-ups sticking around Tuesday as well. I do think we may end up dropping those rain chances a little bit Wednesday, but for now we're going to keep them at 30%. Still a little bit of moisture around. We fall into the upper 70s on Thursday, and then temperatures rebound back to 80 by Friday. So lots going on with the forecast. I'm going to take a look at this comment from Melissa on Facebook. Can you shake your knees in the rain? Will you break your legs if you do? Just kidding. Thank you very much, Melissa. I'm from Louisiana. I can do anything in the rain. Cook, yeah, run, bike, sleep, yeah, peaceful rain. So, yes, I'm going to leave y'all with this 7-day forecast. It's Friday night, so we're all in a good mood here. hopefully you are too. For everybody that's streaming at home on Fire Stick, Roku, something else too. I forget. YouTube, Facebook, all of our streaming applications. Hopefully you guys are all having a fantastic Friday. Looking forward to a pretty solid weekend where there are some low rain chances. Not enough for us to first alert, so not enough for you to cancel your plans. We say this all the time, and you guys just think we want you to download our app. But if you have our app downloaded, we will let you know when those isolated pop-ups are moving into your vicinity, so you at least have a little bit of heads up. Also, we'll tell you how far lightning is away, which shouldn't be a problem tomorrow. Maybe a little bit for some of those isolated pop-ups on a Sunday. So going to leave you all to the 7-day, leave you all to your Friday night plans. I know it's Cinco de Mayo, so a lot of you are probably celebrating in your own way. So have fun, and we'll be on the newscast at 9 and 10 and 11. So we'll see y'all there.